Pose for a thumbnail.
Hey guys, and welcome.
I didn't know you were gonna start talking. I was clearing my throat.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am joined with my sister Anna, who we obviously already know. We are doing a pregnancy Q&A today. For those of you who did not know, we are both pregnant, which is so exciting. Anna is actually pregnant with twins, and she is due the first week in August, and I am due with a baby boy the last week in May. So we're really only like 10 weeks apart from each other. So we figured it would be fun to sit down, answer some of your questions, talk about our journeys a little bit, and just have a little chat. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. First one was no question, but I am so excited for y'all. So freaking cute. We're so excited. So exciting to be doing it together. Okay.
So special.
Question number one is, what were both of your journeys like?
So me and my husband got married back in 2020. We took some time to enjoy life as a newlywed couple and didn't start trying until about a year and a half in. Once we started trying naturally, it just really wasn't working. And for a long time, we were super frustrated with it. So we reached out to a fertility clinic and we had been working with them for about 3 months by the time we got pregnant. So we actually ended up doing IUI. That worked for us. So for those who don't know, that's kind of like the step below IVF. So everything's internal. It's much easier than IVF. They don't take the eggs out of your body. But so we were super lucky that that worked for us. But yeah, very different that we had to go through a fertility clinic to get pregnant, but super grateful to be here.
I talked about mine obviously in my personal pregnancy Q&A, so in case you did not watch that, we got married in May of 2022. At around that time, I also decided that I just no longer wanted to be on birth control. I didn't like how it was making me feel. I was excited to just like not have something that I was attached to every single day at a specific time. Like I just didn't want to be on it anymore. So I got off of it in May of 2022, and then we got pregnant in August. So I found out in August. We kind of went in with the mindset like whatever it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. We knew that we were ready, we were prepared. So we kind of just were not preventing it. And yeah, we got pregnant in August. How did each of your husbands react to the news? What did they say / how did you tell them? I thought in my brain that I was going to have the cutest like thing when I told Timmy that I was pregnant. Like before I knew that I was pregnant, I was like, when I get pregnant, I'm gonna create this like cute little like box and get these little onesies and have my pregnancy test in there, and it's gonna be so cute. It's gonna say dad, he's never gonna expect it, whatever. And then I took the test and I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I'm pregnant. I'm so excited, whatever. I just want to tell him immediately. And I was like, okay, I just need to tell him as soon as he gets home from work. So like I took the test at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He doesn't get home from work until like 5:30. And that was like the longest 3.5 hours of my life was waiting to tell him and acting normal through text like nothing was going on. And so literally he walked in the door and I literally was just like, I have something to show you. And then I showed him, and that's how he found out. I was like really going back and forth between recording it and not recording it, because obviously I record so much of my life. I've recorded myself finding out, recorded me telling other people, but I am really happy that I did not record it. It's a super special moment between the two of us that I'm really glad that we got to share. Timmy is not someone who enjoys being on camera, so I definitely am happy that it's a moment that just the two of us have. He was super excited. I think we were both just in like complete shock at first. Not that we didn't know that this was a possibility, but we were just like really excited that it actually had happened. Like we were very much in denial for like the first couple of days because it almost just seemed like too good to be true. So definitely very excited, very overwhelmed.
So with our journey, it was very different because we knew exactly what was going to happen next. Working with a fertility clinic, everything has to happen on a very strict schedule. When you get your period, when you ovulate, when you do the test, everything like that. So I took the test a little bit earlier than I should have, but I just could not wait because that was what happened every month anyway. And so since my husband knew that we were coming around the time where I was gonna have to take a pregnancy test, pretty much told him the second that I got the positive pregnancy test. I literally peed on the stick, called up to Ryan to come upstairs, and then I told him immediately. I was sobbing. We were overjoyed. I said I still couldn't believe that this was happening, and we were so lucky, and all that kind of stuff. So it was very different for us because it wasn't a shock or surprise because we were trying so hard, but still super special. And I told him immediately.
Next question is, Marissa, was it hard emotionally for you getting pregnant, quote unquote, easily? I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say it. When your sister was struggling with infertility? Yes, definitely. This is something that I actually really have not talked about at all on here, and it is one of the biggest reasons that I waited almost so long to share it on social media, is because Anna and I are super, super close, and I have been with her through this whole infertility process and just have supported her, and I know how difficult it has been for her seeing people around her getting pregnant. Not that she wasn't thrilled and excited for them, but of course it's a very, very difficult when you're trying so hard and it's not happening, that other people around you, it's happening for them and it feels like it's happening quote unquote easily or just different. Of course it's very upsetting, and I saw her go through that every single time she'd see somebody post or something like that. And so when we found out, it was very difficult at first because she was just going through it. Right before then, she actually just found out that she was not pregnant. But it was difficult for us to be able to share this news, knowing that they were also trying so hard for the exact same thing. And so in the beginning, yes, it was very difficult for us. We were really nervous, for lack of a better word, to tell them, not because we didn't think they would be excited for us, because they're truly our best friends. They are so supportive of everything, and everybody knew that this was a possibility that we could get pregnant before them, and we all knew that could happen, but it was just difficult. It was a hard conversation. So when they were the first people we told, we wanted to tell them before we told the rest of our family, because of course it's very bittersweet, for lack of a better word. It was something that they were so excited for us for, but it was bittersweet, I'm sure, because it was something that they were also trying for a lot. So it definitely was very difficult emotionally. I felt immediately better once we did tell them, and of course they were so supportive and so excited.
I was happy crying. I was like, you shouldn't have been afraid to tell us. We were so excited for you, and anyone who is struggling with infertility can relate that it is bittersweet, and the best way to put it is that we're happy for you, but it's sad for us. That we're going through it, and other people, and I kept telling Marissa, I'm so happy that she's not struggling with the stuff that I was struggling with. Just as a big sister, I would never want my little sister to go through something like that. And so that's the best way to put it. I'm so happy for you, but at the same time, I can be so upset and sad and disappointed for me and my husband.
For sure. And we knew that they would feel that way. So that's the kind of what was difficult about not telling them right away, because we probably would have told them literally that night, but we waited about 2 weeks to tell them because we knew how difficult it was going to be, and we almost felt guilty, for lack of a better word, for it happening so easily for us, because we know it's something they've been actively really working towards. And for us, it was just when it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. We almost felt guilty that it happened so easily. And so obviously now with us being pregnant at the same time, everything was meant to happen exactly how it was supposed to happen, and it's easy to reflect on that now. But yes, definitely when I found out that I was pregnant, one of the first things that Timmy and I talked about after we were so excited was, oh my god, how do we tell Anna and Ryan? We felt really bad. So definitely it was difficult for us, but now it's over the moon exciting. Anna, how long did you and your husband try naturally before deciding on going to a fertility clinic?
So I had started reaching out to a fertility clinic when we had been trying naturally for about 10 months. I figured everything I was reading, saying with our ages, because we are on the younger side of things, when people are struggling with infertility, people unfortunately can struggle with this way into their 30s. So everything I was reading saying if you were our age and trying for over 6 months to reach out to a fertility clinic. The general rule is that you try naturally for a year, but I just had a gut feeling, and I think it's really important to trust your gut, because I thought maybe we can't do this naturally, and there's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. We found out that we had unexplained infertility, which means there's absolutely nothing wrong with me and my reproductive system, and there's nothing wrong with my husband and his reproductive system. It was just the fact that each month we were so unlucky that everything wasn't matching up. I think it's super important to trust your gut. People told us to keep waiting and that we were still so young and it will happen eventually. So we tried for about 10 months. We went in just about a year trying naturally, just because they have you do a bunch of blood tests until they actually see you and you really get the process moving. It can take a little bit of time. So my biggest piece of advice to anyone who's struggling with infertility is trust your gut and speak up for yourself, because it really can make a world of difference. You know your body, you know what's happening with yourself. If you feel like something's wrong, say something.
The next question is, how has the process of deciding a name been? Me and my husband are struggling to get one we both love. For us, the process was actually really, really easy. We had a boy name and a girl name pretty much right when I found out that I was pregnant. We kind of decided on what we wanted those two names to be. Our girl name is something that we just love. We love the name. It has no meaning behind it besides the fact that we love it. Our boy name is really, really special to us, and so it was something that it wasn't even a conversation. Once we decided on the name, it was like, yes, this is it. We don't even have to talk about it anymore. It's something that has a meaning for both of us, and so we just went with it, and we're very, very excited about it. We had, like I've said before, we have decided to keep our name private until he is here, just to protect ourselves, because everyone has a lot of opinions about everything.
Yes.
And while
especially motherhood and parenting.
Yes, and while I think majority of people who follow me are very supportive and caring, and if I shared the reason would be very supportive of it, I also don't want to open ourselves up to any criticism at all. So we've decided to keep the name quiet, but for us, it was a very easy process because it's a name that has a super, super significant meaning to both of us. So once we decided on it, it was like a no-brainer.
So for us, we still don't know the genders. Our gender reveal is going to happen sometime end of February. So luckily, me and Ryan have been together for going on 11 years. So we've been talking about baby names for a very long time. Lo and behold, we didn't know we would ever have twins. So that kind of changed a little bit. But we are still working through some girl options, boy options, and girl boy options. So we have some names that we really love, but we're still trying to figure it out. If the best option that I can think of is just to keep trying until you guys both love a name.
Yeah, I know that there's also an app that a lot of people use,
Generate.
where both of you can kind of scroll through names and you can like them or dislike them, and then
kind of like Tinder for baby names.
Yeah, literally, and then eventually you'll meet on one that you guys like. So that's a good option. But I also feel like if you have general ideas of if you want a traditional name, if you want a non-traditional name, Google's your BFF, you know what I mean? The next one is, what were your biggest symptoms first and second trimester, and how do you guys feel now? For me, my biggest consistent symptom through my entire pregnancy has just been being absolutely exhausted all the time. I feel like I could fall asleep at any point throughout the course of the day. I have always been a very sleepy gal by nature.
Yeah.
I am always the type of person where if you put me in a nice little sunspot under a blanket, I'm like a cat, I'll pass out. I've always been that way. So I think that's just now elevated now that I am pregnant.
Yeah.
But being exhausted has definitely been my number one symptom. Outside of that, I was very nauseous my first semester.
I still do that.
My first trimester, I never threw up, but I was super nauseous, especially when I was on long car rides. And basically the only thing that helped me at that point was eating something salty, like chips, crackers, things like that, just something to kind of keep my stomach at ease. Now, honestly, I really don't have any super severe symptoms besides being tired. Of course, I have hormonal acne that flares up from time to time. That's kind of just been a consistent, but nothing that's too bad. But my biggest one at this point has really just been the exhaustion, and now I'm starting to have some back and round ligament pain, which is super common in your second trimester. So nothing unbearable, but it's definitely been a much easier second trimester for me personally than first trimester.
I'm only about 2 weeks into my second trimester. It is very different with twins, just because all your hormone levels are super elevated. Everything is just kind of taken to the next level because you're supplying to babies with hormones. You also have a lot of brain fog, I found out. So my number one symptom with the first trimester was definitely exhaustion as well. And the one that was kind of still around second runner up was hunger. I didn't put into perspective of having especially 2 growing babies inside of me. I was someone who didn't eat a ton back before I was pregnant, so it really changed my process of thinking of I'm supplying 2 nutritional values to 2 different babies. So really upping my intake and not feeling guilty about it was super important for me. But definitely the exhaustion of just the first trimester in general, hunger, and I've had nausea, especially now in my second trimester. It's actually getting worse, which is super common with twins as well. So hopefully it dies down, but I mean, again, it is what it is. It means the babies are doing okay.
I also feel like with the hunger too, like I feel like it's this weird balance when you're pregnant of knowing that you need to eat and that you're hungry all the time. Like I'm hungry all the time now. Same with like we're hungry a lot more often than we used to be, but also knowing that they're like literally this big in the very beginning. So like how much do they actually need? But it's also very important, like for myself, I really just listen to my hunger cues. Like clearly I'm hungry for a reason, whether it's just me being hungry, whether it's him being hungry, who the heck knows what it is. But obviously just like listening to your hunger cues, like your body is telling you you're hungry for a reason. So you don't need to like feel guilty that you're eating more food. Like I think that's very normal. You're also growing a human being, your metabolism is changing, your hormones are different. Like a lot's going on in there. You're doing a lot. So like it's normal. So I think it's like a weird balance at first of being like, do I actually need to eat this? But if your body's telling you you're hungry, then I would just eat. It's not that big of a deal.
And especially same thing with cravings. I think it's important to like listen to your cravings too sometimes, because it could tell you what your body is needing. If you're craving a steak, if you're craving red meat, maybe your body really needs that iron to supply the red blood cells. Of course, if you're craving salty McDonald's fries every single day, maybe don't do that. But also like indulge when you want to, because why not?
Any cravings or food aversions? I have my biggest craving through my entire pregnancy has been sour candy, which is crazy to me because I have never like loved sour candy beforehand. Like I actually typically preferred chocolate over the sour candy going into my pregnancy. Now you could give me sour candy all day, every day, and I would be able to eat it.
Sour Patch watermelons.
Absolutely no problem. Yeah, like literally sour anything sounds so freaking good right now. I love it. I have also been a salty food person. Always. I love salty snacks. So like chips, anything like that always sound really good for me. Buffalo pretzels, buffalo things like that. I'm always like a little spicy. It's always a little nice. But so those have been my biggest cravings. Nothing weird, I would say. Nothing that is like, oh, like people crave like ice cream and pickles or like things like that. Like nothing like that as of this point. Kind of been like normal foods, just like on an elevated level. And then as far as aversions, in my first trimester, I was really like didn't like the way uncooked meat looked. Like I could eat meat no problem, but I didn't want to be the one physically cooking the meat, like ground beef and ground turkey and raw chicken. Like all of that is like really unappetizing to me. It was. Now I can cook it no problem, but that was kind of the big thing. And then also bananas, which is super sad because I really, really love bananas. But bananas have been the one food through my whole pregnancy that I have not been able to eat. But yes, I think it's just like the texture of them freak me out right now.
Same with me. I haven't had any crazy weird cravings. It's the saltiness as well. I really love chips or anything like that. Since I have been very nauseous recently, it's basically just anything that I can stomach that I will be eating, and anything that doesn't sound disgusting, that's what I'll have. So that's for cravings. But for food aversions, one big one for me has actually been deli meat. My husband eats usually a sandwich every single day for lunch. So I have to kind of stay away from him after that, or when he's unpacking it from the groceries. But I haven't really had any crazy food aversions. It's just like things in the moment that could trigger a smell or trigger when you see it or something like that. It's really small things, but nothing like majorly that every day in and day out smell or look bad. It's just in the moment what happens when you see it or smell it.
Yeah, for sure. Smells are definitely heightened a lot more. Like when you're like in the food store and you like are walking through the seafood section, like even if it's not like I've been able to eat fish the whole time, like the smell of it doesn't bother me, but sometimes when you're like in the seafood part and it's like so freaking fishy, it just gets you. So like smells are definitely heightened a lot more. The next one is one thing you're excited about and one thing you're nervous about. I honestly am so excited to be a mom. I really did not know if I would, to be entirely honest with you. I really was not sure when I would be ready in life to be a mom. I have said multiple times in vlogs and on stories and things like that I felt like I was really selfish before to be a mom, and that's why I didn't think I was ready to be one. And I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I just think it's self-aware. I think that I was like, I wanted to be able to do things when I wanted to be able to do them. I didn't want something controlling every aspect of my life pretty much. And so I am really, really excited now that I am pregnant to be a mom, to have a baby, to be around him, to like raise him. I am really excited for this process with Timmy, honestly, more than anything else. I think we've been together for so long, where we've been together for 8 years, and I'm really excited to just do this process and this journey with all the ups and downs with him. So honestly, that's what I'm the most excited about, is just to do this process with somebody who really is like my best friend and my support system, and somebody that I know is going to be there for me through the whole process. I'm really definitely excited about that. And honestly, for me personally, I am the most nervous about like the actual labor part of it, just because there's so much unknown about what could happen in labor. And I don't think that I'm not ready. I don't think that I'm not prepared. I am like very aware that our bodies are like meant to do this, and so I know that it's going to be okay. But it's also, I think, the thing with pregnancy and birth that has the most unknowns to it, because you're really not going to know what happens, how long it's going to be, how your body's going to respond to all these things until it's happening. And so I think the unknown of it, just being a little bit of a control freak with this stuff, has difficult for me, because I wish that I knew exactly what was going to happen, and you don't. So I think for me, that's what I'm the most nervous about.
I'm most excited to, especially now that I'm having twins, I'm excited for the process of being a twin mom. It's so unique and not everyone gets to do it. And seeing the two babies grow up together, the differences in their personalities and the differences of their milestones, and just watching them grow together. And I think it'll be so special. Not everyone gets to be a twin mom, so I'm really lucky in that. And same thing with what Marissa said. I'm really excited to do this with my husband and just really have this new adventure together. We're really ready for it, and I'm just like so excited for them to be here already, and just kind of start the process of being parents. The thing I'm most nervous about is probably same thing, but with me, for twins, it's super common to have C-sections. So I've always imagined, of course, my labor and delivery being vaginal. So that's something that I really, really, really hope to do. They are die twins, which, if you know what that means, they're in 2 different sacs, which means it's a better chance for us to deliver vaginally. And so I'm really excited for the chance to do that. And again, it really depends on if the babies are healthy enough, which way they're flipped, and all that kind of stuff. And of course, we are willing to do whatever is best for the health of the babies and for me. But to be able to birth them vaginally, and put them on my chest and just feel empowered as a woman, I think that would be amazing. Not that having a C-section would be any less empowering, but I just think that there's a lot more complications that go along with it. So that's something that I'm a little nervous about.
And I think we're also, obviously, if you haven't been able to tell, very excited that we're able to like do this process together.
Yes.
It's super cool. It's super unique that you get to do this with your sister, but also like one of your closest friends.
Literally.
So it's really exciting that we will have 3 babies that will be able to grow up together and do everything together, and it's really special because we're so close. Our bond is so great, and it's exciting. Our husbands are best friends, and so it's exciting that now our kids will get to be that close as well. And we always knew they'd be close in age because of how when we got married and how close we are in age, but like they're gonna be close in age. Like maybe
if Marissa goes a little late and I go a little early, they could be like 6-ish weeks apart.
So like that would be really, really exciting. The fact that they could potentially be in the same grade, be playing the same sports together, like things like that. So of course we're excited to do it with our husbands. We're also very excited to do it together and know that like through all of the ups and downs of the labor, of postpartum and all of that, like we have each other and somebody that we can literally like unapologetically be ourselves and be open and honest with. Like that's super special and unique, and it's like it's nice to have that for sure. Last but not least, do you own maternity clothes, and where are you buying them from? I actually just talked about this in my last vlog, but for the most part for myself, I have been wearing majority of the same clothes that I was wearing before I got pregnant. I am now starting to transition into more maternity clothes. I'm now 6 months pregnant, so there's a little bit of a bump. We got some things going on now. So for the most part, I was wearing a lot of the clothes that I was wearing pre-pregnancy, mostly because a lot of what I wore pre-pregnancy was active wear. And so it's very stretchy and it can accommodate a little bit extra room as I needed it. So I really didn't need to do to get maternity clothes in the early stages of my pregnancy. There were some things I did decide to size up in, so I just went up a size, and that seemed to work for a little bit as well. But of course, as your bump continues to get bigger, as you continue to get bigger, sometimes even going up in a size is not the same because it's not really meant to accommodate a maternity bump, if that makes sense. Like maternity clothes are meant to fit a very specific way for the way that your body is shaped when you are pregnant. And so more recently I have started buying maternity clothes. Honestly, the biggest places I've gotten them from have been Target. Target's been a big one, and from Pink Blush. I absolutely love everything I got from Pink Blush. And then I got a really nice pair of maternity leggings from Vitality, which is a brand that used to be Balance Athletica. It's an athletic wear brand, but it's leggings that I can wear, just literally plain black leggings that I can wear with everything. And it's nice because they have a super, super high waist. So as I continue to get bigger, it will accommodate for that. And honestly, overall, I've just been wearing whatever feels comfortable on that particular day. I refuse to put on something that does not feel comfortable for me and my changing body at this point. And so if I do not want to wear jeans, whether they're maternity jeans or regular jeans, for the rest of my pregnancy, then I am not going to. I'm just going to wear what I feel comfortable in and feel confident in, and whether that's maternity or not, that's just kind of been my motto.
Agreed. I'm earlier in my pregnancy than Marissa is, but with twins, I am definitely starting to get a little bit of a bump. And I am on the edge of straight and plus sizes. I'm kind of right on the cusp. So it's extremely hard, anyone who can relate, to find plus size maternity clothes. And of course, I like things a little looser anyway. So if I was to size up or 2 sizes up just to plan ahead, I do fall into that plus size category. Some good plus size options that I've found so far are Pink Blush. They have a plus size section and it's awesome. And I just bought a pair of maternity jeans for the first time just to go into work, and if I go out to a restaurant with my friends or anything like that, it's just nice to have a little bit of a stretchier waistband. And I actually bought them from Good American. So I have been dying to buy a pair of jeans from Good American just because I love Khloe Kardashian. And but I could never justify paying $180 for a pair of jeans. But since I read so many articles talking about plus size jeans, what are the best plus size maternity jeans, all that kind of stuff, and all of them listed Good American as one of the #1 brands for the maternity jeans. So I go ahead and splurged, and they are awesome. So I highly recommend those if you're looking for a good pair of maternity jeans.
All right, y'all, we are going to wrap up the video here. We hope you guys like this video. Obviously, we are speaking about all of this from us and our personal experiences. Every pregnancy is so different. Every person's body during pregnancy is so different.
Even between me and Marissa, we've had so many differences in general.
Yes, and I think it's so important to talk about it, but also to realize, as we're talking about what we've been going through and our journeys and our cravings and our aversions and bodies, the whole nine, you just remember that it is such an individual journey. And so while it's so nice to be able to look at other people who are going through this, please just remember that and never compare yourself, because it is so different from person to person. I just feel like I have to put that disclaimer in here, but please just remember that as you're watching all of the videos, as I'm sure we'll do more throughout the course of our pregnancies. Just remember that every pregnancy is so unique and different and special in its own way. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up the video here. If you guys like this video, please make sure you go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. You already know it supports my channel. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification so you never miss another video that I post. If you haven't, make sure you follow me on my Instagram and TikTok so you can see other fitness, health, and lifestyle content that I post on there. And we will catch you guys here next time.